every day and go and do different things so my life can change. Let me explain to you how I finally got a place to stay. I was working with a lawyer uh, from St. John's University who kept saying, Jay, you got to get up, you got to do this, you got to go and do all these talking again. You have to get out and you can't just be recluse. And I said, no problem. After 7 months of not being able to find a place to live, I went and talked at the Yale Club. I didn't want to give the talk. It was something similar to this. It was a program called the Exodus Program. It's a transitional program. Julio Medina's here out of New York. And I remember I went in and I told the same story, and I was pounding on this, and I'm pounding on a convicted felon. A lady was getting out the elevator. It was about 400 people. She just came in and she sat down. And after I said I couldn't find a place to live, everybody else, when the event is over, goes home. I shook everybody's hand, and this one lady was probably number 400. Her name is Marianne. She said, son, I own a building. And she says, you can live in my building. And I said, okay, thank you very much. And this is a true story how God works, is that the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning, she asked me to go back to a building which had rejected me. And she said, pick any apartment you want. You're going to pay for it. She said, but we'd be welcome to have you there. Now, if I wouldn't got up and given myself back to community, because let me tell you something. I speak to Jim often, and I tell them sometimes I'm on fire. I call my manager, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Sometimes I want to save the world. And then sometimes I end up saving parts of my community. But most days I wake up and I just save myself. I don't want anybody here to feel sorry for me. I'm not here for a pity party. I'm not here to cry in my beer. I'm not here to do any of those things. I'm here to tell you that I'm a convicted felon and I have some colleagues here. And because I made a mistake in the actions that I took after the mistake, landed me in prison, I paid my debt to society, whatever that means. And when I got out, it was more difficult for me than any one of my days in prison. So I'm here to just tell you that, please, whatever these young folk, or like myself, old folk are here telling you, it is the truth. Because see, God is not a God of a second chance. He's a God of another chance. Because I've wasted all my second chances. I'm here to ask each and every one of you to forgive me. And let me work with you and your communities to make the world a better place. It's not easy getting up here, trust me, and always happen to live in the past. 99% of all my talks are about something that happened 10 seconds ago, for 10 seconds, but changed so many lives. And I'm so sorry. And I apologize for that. And I'm asking, please let me help you. Please give me another chance. Please give the convicted felons in here another chance. I had a chance a long time ago to play Pebble Beach. California is a golf course, and if you play this beach, when you get to a certain par 3, you can watch the waves just come in, and it's just throwing these pebbles up against the rocks, up against the cave, and throwing it back, and it happens 3 times a minute for infinity. And if you look down, you see people taking their pants off, rolling them up, or doing whatever, picking up these pebbles. And that's because these pebbles have been thrown up against the rock so many times, so many trials and tribulations, that these rocks, these pebbles are now shiny and they're collectible. But if you look 1 mile down the beach where the water is calm, there's nobody picking up those pebbles. So we all been through something. And I'm telling you now, we are more likely to get up and go to work and do the right thing every morning because we've been there. I understand that I'm not going back to prison. So anything I do, I understand what's the rewards, what's the consequences of my actions. So I take a pause in anything I do now. So I'm asking you here to please give us a second chance. And I would end on this. There's a very special person here who sent me this in prison, and this is the way I got it, and I read it every morning. And it's what the pencil maker told the pencil just before he put it back in the box. The pencil maker being God, the pencil being myself, a convicted felon. There are 5 things you need to know, he told the pencil. Before I send you into this world, always remember them and never forget, and you will become the best pencil you can be. 1, you'll be able to do many great things if you allow yourself to be held in someone else's hands. Number 2, you will experience a painful sharpening from time to time. Number 3, you'll be able to correct any mistakes that you might make. That's why they put erasers on pencils. But let me explain something to you. That's a lot easier said, and I'm not a guy up here giving you cliches. Once you're labeled a convicted felon, with technology today, you are a convicted felon in every means of the word. Number 4, the most important part of you is what's inside. When I was in prison, nobody came up to me and said, Jason, man, give me some money. Jason, give me some soup, give me a pack of cigarettes. Give me your dignity, give me your respect. They asked me, Jay, when you get out, can you do me one favor? Can you help me get a job? Can you help me get a job? I remember being in prison, and I first went in, and Governor Christie brought it up, and he said when people came up to him, they would say all the time, what you going to do about it? You're the governor, fix this. When I went to prison, I had the save the world mentality, and I was helping everybody get jobs on the outside through my manager, Akhtar. He said, help this guy, help this guy. And let me tell you something. You can't do that because it's extortion. Because people would think that you're getting extorted. And the prison system frowns upon it. But these guys had no other way. And out of maybe the 35 people that we had one incident. So when they were saying up here earlier that they had 100%, when somebody gets a job, they're keeping it to live in this home, trust me, you give me a job, you give me another chance, and I'll make you proud. And so would each and every convicted felon in this room, just give us a chance. And number 5, and the last, on every surface you are used, you must leave your mark. No matter what the condition, you must continue to write. I said it earlier, there's nothing harder and more humiliating and more embarrassing than standing before those people in the back room. Not before my colleagues and having to bring up something I'm so embarrassed and I'm so hurt by. But it's something that is my purpose. And I finally found it. And my worst days are the days when I don't get a call to help somebody else. And what I've learned from this whole ordeal is to help somebody who can no way possibly repay you. Once again, I want to ask you, please, give us a chance. Give us another chance. I want my children to be proud of me. I want my mother to be proud of me. I want you all to be proud of me. And I speak for all my colleagues who are convicted felons. I speak from the heart. And if there's anything that I can do to make your life better, trust me, I've done everything a man's supposed to do and not supposed to do in his life. And most things I am ashamed of, but there's a few things I'm proud of. And anytime I can help somebody in need who can't repay me is one of my proud days. And I want to thank you all for giving me your time today. I'm passionate about the reentry process. I'm scared. I'm not what you see before you. You know, in prison, when a new guy came into jail and he had nothing to eat, if you gave him one soup, he still won't sleep at night. But if you gave him two, he know he has something to eat the next day. And he would go to sleep. Being a convicted felon, you don't know what's going to happen the next day. I'm asking you all to give me that second soup. And let me help you help others. And thank you for your time today.